Well, hey there, gang. Welcome to Staffing Summer 2024 edition. I am Dr. Grimes. Hopefully, you've already seen the video about me introducing myself. I wanted to take this opportunity to go through the syllabus real quick with you and hit the highlights, some of the things that I'll talk about briefly here. I'll have a little bit more in-depth videos on later. First thing on page 1, there's my cell phone. Text me if you need anything. Make sure that you tell me who you are and which class you're in, because I'm teaching two. Some of you are in both of them, but you might say, this is Johnny Smith from 4670 or staffing or whatever, and that way I can get my head straight before I try to understand what you're talking about. First thing on page number 2 is that the syllabus has the 5th edition of the textbook. I understand that the bookstore has the 4th edition. Get either one of them. I don't think there's a lot of change other than, you know, when these writers and these publishers put a new edition out, they put a paragraph in here and there, so it changes the page numbers. So the overall content is not different. I don't think the order of the material is not any different. I think there's just different page numbers. So if you've got the 5th edition, you're going to have to help the folks who have the 4th edition. In the way that I figure we do that, there's a discussion board out there called page numbers or something like that. If you're in the 5th edition, especially if you're working ahead a little bit, you might post something out there that said, hey, I just did chapter 7A, and it looks like the material we're supposed to read, which is pages 233 to 239 in 5th edition, it covers these section headings, and that way somebody with the 4th edition can go to chapter 7 and find those section headings, and then they can post something that says, I've got 4th edition, and that's pages 232 to 236, and that way all of you can keep up with the page numbers. All right, second thing on page 2 is the attendance verification. There is a quiz. It's very short. It's like 3 questions. 2 of them are yes, no, I read this, or I did that, or I watched that, yes or no. The third one, I'm just asking you to put in your cell phone number and a non-GSW email address like Yahoo or Gmail or something like that. And seems like there was one other thing, and I forget what it is right now. Yeah, whatever. You've got to do that to get credit for attending class and getting all the financial aid flowing like that. It's due by 11:59 p.m. on June the 11th. If you haven't done it, you're not going to be attending class and you're going to get dropped. All right, there is a password that goes with that, but you will find the password if you read through the syllabus. So if you're watching this video, I'm not telling you where it is, but you're being aware through the syllabus, through this video, through a message on the home page, that there is a password built into the syllabus that's not going to jump right out at you, but if you read it, it'll be real obvious. Okay, so main thing you're interested in is, how do I get my grade? You want an A? I know that. I'd love to give you one. It's all quality based. Part of it, you have to turn everything in and you have to do quality if you want to get the A. Top of page 3 is the grade breakdown. The check-in quiz is worth 50 points. The way this class works is that the whole goal is to teach you how to properly interview someone so that you hire the right person the first time. And the logic I use is that in order to interview somebody, you've got to know the job that they're interviewing for. So what we'll do first is pick a job, and it's going to be an entry-level thing like a warehouse clerk or a maintenance person or a sales rep or an HR clerk or something that doesn't require a lot of education. It doesn't require a lot of experience. It's something that you can find pretty easily through the internet and whatever resources, what the basic requirements are of that job, on what that job would do on a daily basis. So you pick a job, and you're going to create a job description. And I'm going to give you a template for it that you're going to just go in and type over. And I'm going to give you suggestions on what goes in what section. Once you've got a good job description, then I want you to pretend like you are the person interested in that job and wanting to apply for that job. And based on what you know that job does and the skills that you know that job requires, I want you to create a resume for yourself that you could submit if you wanted to apply for that job. The reason for that exercise is that if you figure out what you need to put in a resume to apply for that job based on the functions and the skills needed for that job, then you're going to be better able to spot those things in somebody else's resume. So you're going to create a resume to apply for that job. Then you're going to start figuring out what questions you would ask somebody if you were actually interviewing for that job. So one of the major assignments is the question list that you're going to ask, and then some sort of a scoring sheet as you do the interviews to make notes and to come up with a mathematical justification of why you like this person better than that person. At the close of it all, what you're going to do is actually interview 3 people. And they're going to be friends of yours or family members. Maybe it's your spouse and your college-age child or your next-door neighbor or your best friend. And what I'd like you to do, if possible, is get face-to-face in a room somewhere. And they'll come in. You'll tell them ahead of time, this is what's happening. You're doing me a huge favor. It's supposed to be casual, but I want you to act like it's real, that you're really interested in this job. So you might give them the job description ahead of time to look over. You might ask them to create a resume for you to look over where they highlight their qualifications. But then you're going to take the list of questions that you've given me and we've talked about, and you're going to ask them to them like you're doing a regular interview, and you're going to score them on your scoring sheet. And one of them you're going to select to hire. If you need to do this through video, I'd rather you not do it over the phone. I'd rather you have a face-to-face contact. So it might be through Skype or Teams or something like that. I'd be like for you to be able to look at them while you're doing it. But you're going to interview 3 people and you choose who they are. And then they're going to give me feedback. So one of the first things you'll do is pick the job, and then you will give me the list of 3 people and their names and their cell phone numbers and their email addresses so I can contact them through email after the interviews are done to get their feedback. So as we read down the list of things that make up your grade, the check-in quiz, your resume is worth 100 points. The chapter quizzes, each chapter is broken up into 2 or 3 pieces. For each piece, you'll have some reading to do in the textbook, and then I'll give you a PowerPoint over that material, and I'll give you my handwritten notes that I would use if I were lecturing in the classroom. And then there'll be a video of me talking about that. So as you've looked at, if you've read, as you looked at my notes, as you looked at the PowerPoint, and as you've watched my video, you'll know exactly what you need to know for the quiz. And then when all of the pieces for that chapter, 2 pieces, 3 pieces, A and B and C, whatever, are completed, then you'll be able to take a quiz that's usually 10 questions over the highlights of that material. The job description is worth 100 points. Again, there were 10 quizzes, 10 points apiece, 100 total points. The job descriptions is worth 100. The interview tools, there's 2 of, whoops, that's a typo in the thing that I'm looking at here. It says interview tools 2 times 50, but it should be 2 times 100 points each because it is 200 total points. You'll do 3 interviews, but they will combine for 1 grade, and it's a total 100 points based upon things like how courteous and how professional and how respectful were you, were the questions that you asked really tied to that job description, those kinds of things. And that's the feedback I'll get from your interviewees. The 3 interviews will combine for 1 grade, 100 points. And then there's 3 exams, 100 points each. So that is the basis of the grading thing. The exams are all 3 Proctor U. The first one is just your head and your memory and nothing else. On the second one, you can use a dry erase board because you got to do a little bit of math on that. We'll go over all the math in the lectures and the videos and whatnot, but you'll need to be able to recreate that, and you'll get to have a 4-function calculator, not a phone because the phone does other things besides calculators, but a basic 4-function calculator. I wonder if I've even got one here at my work desk. I don't see where I do, but you've got a basic 4-function calculator that you can use. If you don't have a dry erase board and a marker, you can use a pencil and a blank piece of paper. The advantage of the dry erase board is that when you're done with it, you can hold it up and you can wipe it clean so the proctor knows that you didn't save your notes. Otherwise, you've got to tear up the paper and light it on fire or something, I don't know, so that you don't use it to help somebody else. All right, as I mentioned a couple of times, I think in various sources, there are 3 units to the class. For the first unit, you've got a full month to get it done. The final, the exam dates for that are June the 28th through the 30th. By June the 30th at 11:59 p.m., Everything related to Unit 1 needs to be submitted. Anything that's not submitted by that point in time becomes a 0. So work ahead, work early, work often, get it done, and then relax. Don't panic at the end, panic at the beginning. Get as much done as you can early, and then you can get feedback quicker, you can get your grades quicker, and you can breathe a little bit before the next unit starts. There, unit number 2 starts the day of the final day of the first exam. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but exam 1 and unit 1 goes through June the 30th, and on June the 30th unit 2 opens. You can't work ahead from 1 to 2, but you can work ahead within 1 and within 2. Hope that makes sense. All right, go ahead and make your Proctor U appointments now. If you wait until right before the exam window, you may have a hard time getting an appointment. So make your appointments now, pay for the darn things now. And when there is there's another typo there because the test site, yeah, they're open Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Don't make your appointment for Sunday, because if you have problems technologically or whatever, there is no time to recover. And it is a real headache for me, for my liaison, for Proctor U, to try to make a window for you after it's closed. So try to get a Friday or Saturday appointment, and then if something goes wrong, you've still got Sunday to do it. The grading, as you can see, pages 4 and 5 is based on quality. It's very subjective, but I'm going to try to give you the benefit of the doubt. If you do basically what I asked you to do, you go a little bit above board, you get A's and B's on things. If you give me basically what I asked, you get a C on things. C passes the class, but that's certainly not what you want. Page 7, I don't accept late work. You know, you've got in the case of Unit 1, you've got a whole month to do this stuff. So anything that's not done by then, I'm so sorry, but you know, you had your warning. So get it all done ahead of time. Don't ask to be able to submit it late. The answer is going to be no. If you know you're going to have to miss a test because you're on a cruise or you're in Europe or you're having surgery or something like that, tell me early so I can create a special window for you. I don't like having to do it at the last minute, but I'm willing to do it ahead of time. All right. Only other thing, last page is the basic syllabus schedule. You see intro number 1 covers several different chapters. You got a lot of things due, as I think I mentioned in one place somewhere. The bulk of this semester happens in the first unit. Most of your big assignments are in the first unit. The only thing that is significant is the actual interviews themselves, which is in Unit 3. Well, I hope that answers most of your questions. If you do have questions, you can text me, or you can go to the Ask Dr. G discussion board. It's very possible that the question you have, somebody else also has. So if you go to Ask Dr. G and type it out there, everybody can see the question and the answer and go, gosh, I was going to ask that. I'm glad you did it for me. At any rate, almost 13 minutes in here. It's a little bit shorter than the video I did for my other class. I hope that you're excited about this. You're going to learn how to interview people correctly, and you're going to learn how to find the right person the first time. And if you can become an expert on hiring, man, you're going to have status in your organization. You're going to be looked to as a champion. You're going to get opportunities that others don't have, because the way most people interview is to Google common questions. Tell me about your 3 greatest strengths. And I hear you talk about how you're ambitious and you're enthusiastic and you're attention to detail, and I'm going, how does that help me know if I should hire you or not? So you learn how to ask questions that tell me if you can do this job. You're going to succeed 9 times out of 10. That's it for now. Other videos to come. Hope that these don't bore you too terribly, but I will interact with you as much as I can through these things and as best as I can through email and text and whatnot. That's it for now.